Live from Atlanta, it's Wednesday night. Yeah. Good evening, Floyd. Thank you for joining us, everyone, here and afar. My name is Jamie Badoud, and I'm fortunate to be the executive director of Hambidge. Feel really excited to be connecting with all of you, all of the family. We're all fellows here, so just wanted to introduce Floyd Hall, a Hambidge fellow and current resident at the Cross Pollination Art Lab, which is where we are right now here in Atlanta. Floyd Hall.
Thank you, Jamie. Hi, everyone. I'm Floyd Hall. I was a Hambidge fellow back in 2016, and I reflect fondly upon my experience as a Hambidge fellow. It was one of those moments where I really got a chance to dive deep into thinking about process, my own work, other folks' work. Really just had some really impactful conversations and moments that I cherish to this day. And anytime I see anyone who thinks about or is thinking about applying to Hambidge, I'm always super encouraging and supportive of that, because I think the experience you get at Hambidge to really just give you a different type of perspective on your work. And I think that as artists, no matter what your craft or your discipline, that's just a very necessary space for you to be in and have some time sort of, linger in a creative way. So I'm glad to be here for this conversation. I'm excited about Hambidge. I'm excited about talking about Hambidge 2.0. We got fancy brochures here. Hambidge is expanding and growing physically, but I think also in terms of the organization, which is also important. There's always been amazing staff at Hambidge. I've always been happy to be in touch with them and work with them, but we have some additions.
Absolutely.
And I think it's time to bring in some of those additions.
Absolutely. Ife Williams, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Now we have more staff here. We're going to all get into the picture. Dana Thacker, come on down. Catherine, come on down. We're all here. Maddie is working. Maddie, our intern, is working. Come around and just say hello. Squeeze in.
Hello.
All right, hi world out there. We're streaming. Proud to be here and proud to just have a down-home conversation with all the exciting things going on in Hambidge, right? Ife drove down through the traffic and everything, came out of the nice mountain fresh air.
I have to say, I was shocked that we did not get stuck in traffic. We had more difficulty leaving Hambidge than we had.
That's a good thing. Well, welcome back.
Ethan, what is your role at Hambidge?
I am the head wrangler. Yeah. I'm the deputy director. I've been on campus for just over a month now, so I'm not surprised by anything I run into. I'm an old staffer now, but yeah, right now I'm dreaming of what is coming next and welcoming all the fellows or residents as they apply and sending them back out to the world as fellows.
And so we're very proud to have Ife, a new part of the team, leading the charge up at the campus and really helping us define what the future looks like in terms of all of the exciting things that we're going to be talking about tonight. So
I'm going to dip out of the picture. And
thank you, Ife.
Thank you, Ife. That's a great segue, Jamie. I think as the announcement regarding Hambidge 2.0, where the capital campaign, the expansion of Hambidge was made, I think I, like a lot of people, probably thought, like, what does this mean? Like, how this happening? How did we get here? Why? How? All those, short but important, one-word questions. So if you could maybe like lead us into this space of how we got to this moment right now. What's been happening at Hambidge behind the scenes, sort of lead us into this moment of Hambidge 2.0 and this impending expansion.
Sure. There's a lot there. We've been working on this for a long time. I have, let's see, next month I'll celebrate 12 years at Hambidge. That's a dozen, y'all. And it's really through spending time with Hambidge fellows, and listening to individuals like yourself and hearing a lot about some of the incredible projects that weren't taking hold and going out into the world. So in a lot of ways, I've been thinking for a long time on how we can start connecting dots to better serve our fellows and build stronger connections to our fellows, create opportunities. And so that's in a short form how we started doing projects like the Cross-Pollination Art Lab where we are now, where in Atlanta we've got 8 studio residents who were here for 6 months doing a wide variety of things and all have their own spaces. And we've been really proud to launch that in the city. But coming back to Hambidge 2.0, it's really about capacity building. I think, for a long time, Hambidge has been very fortunate to have a long trajectory and a long legacy of nurturing artists, one of which we're very proud of. But the challenge of keeping up with 600 acres and 18 nationally registered historic buildings that IFE is getting acquainted with is a challenge. And so it just comes down to really kind of really supporting that, and then supporting the ideas and the fellows in ways that we would like to. So in looking about how to grow the organization, we really thought about a wide variety of ways. And I think backing up too, I've always jokingly said that there's some truth always. My job when I came to Hambidge is not to screw up the place because it's quite perfect in a lot of ways. But what we do want to ensure is that it's sustainable. And Hambidge in prior years has not been sustainable. And I say that with great respect to what is the core driving element of what makes Hambidge special, and that is simply a belief in artists and the creative process, right? So not product. There's plenty of products out there, and we want to see more, but there's not enough support and respect for that creative process, and that's where Hambidge really shines and remains committed to. Now, when you're talking about that commitment to the creative process, you bump up into challenges about, well, what is the ROI on the creative process? And ROI is, of course, return on investment. And so we started thinking a little bit about how can Hambidge stay true to who it is, while at the same time grow and build capacity to do more for its artists and be more compassionate in welcoming our artists to the property. Keep coming in, we're here in Atlanta, everybody just keeps walking in the door, it's wonderful. But what the driving force, again, capacity building, okay? And how do we as an organization stay true to what we're doing? Which we truly feel there's lots of residencies, but we really feel what we're doing is something special. We want to stay committed to that creative process. We really we see the beauty of the cross-pollination of all the various disciplines, the various backgrounds, the various ages, and an intimate group, so that from 8 to 10. And that's exactly how we modeled the idea to grow our workshops. We've been doing workshops for a long time, but this new initiative really allows us to be a little more thoughtful about how we can be financially successful when it comes to workshops. When we do the workshops, we saw a lot of interest in the workshops, but by the time we paid the instructor, and by the way, a big part of what Hambidge wants to do is continue to advocate for the wonderful value that artists bring into the world. And so we want to pay those instructors and pay them well. So after you pay the instructors well, there's little funds to be made on the workshops. So where we can make some fun, what we have heard is people want to stay on the property. So that was a little bit of the start of the idea of building new buildings to provide space for the workshops and create a new earned revenue source. But we didn't want to just build these buildings just for that. We wanted to really think about how those could serve the organization completely. So that being said, we had an initial gift from Susan Antonori, which was a really generous gift of $200,000 to build some tiny homes on the property to allow us to have places for workshop participants to stay. Tiny homes are great and they're fun little spots, but we wanted something a little bit more flexible to create new opportunities for our artists as well. So we went to the architects' buildings, Brian Bell and David Yoakum, and really dreamed big. And the Antonori Village, which is right here behind me, is something that that they pulled together. And it was really inspired by the historical element of Hambidge. It's placed in the ruins of a previous lodge. And it's inspired by Mary Cavan's dog trot. Okay. So super excited about all the thought that went into establishing these buildings. The problem was it was a little over the $200,000 initial seed money that we landed on, but we went back to the Antonoris, Susan and Ron, and told them that this was our big dream, and it's coming in more around the 1.5 million, 2 million. We may have to phase this out over a period of time, but we wanted to show you what our big dream was, and they said, "Don't change a thing. We'll give you $1.5 million." So that's the real aha, exciting moment because all of this became very real. And we, of course, you can't just plop down a beautiful building and not take care of the rest of the property, right? We have lots of Band-Aids on the property and have been ailing at that for many, many years. So then we did a thorough investigation on all of the studios and put together a plan to upgrade all of the studios and really bring everything to a whole new standard. And that's a little bit how we get to Hambidge 2.0. This isn't really about building a new building. It's really about upping our game on all levels and creating the capacity to really deliver in deeper ways, more in broader ways. I will say there is a shift in the sense of really opening up to a broader community. In the past, we're just serving artists, very proud of that. And simply said, what I want to be clear is we want to maintain and deepen that protection and community that we're bringing together at Hambidge. It's a community. It's more than just an escape to Uncle Joe's house, in the woods. It's really about those dialogues over dinner and leaning into being with creative individuals. So the big shift here is opening up to the public, while at the same time really being protective of that residency experience. We understand how important it is to have quiet and to not be interrupted with other individuals. So we're really proud of the fact that the new building, where it will just be, again, modeled directly from our residency program, 8 individuals, kind of a more simple workshops, along with another set of residency opportunities on the other side of the property.
So just to sort of summarize what I hear you saying. Yes. One, the core experience that Hambidge Fellows has, that they know and love will remain the same. That experience of being able to focus on process, work in progress, work in process, and that connection with their, fellow, attendees, fellows there, that will remain the same. The commitment to that remains the same. But the realities of a nonprofit organization, and to be sustainable, to be able to provide further capacity for that core experience, you have to be able to generate some funds and have some earned income and make some decisions that relate to that. So this expanded vision that centers around the workshop spaces and allowing folks to sort of stay on campus while they're attending those workshops, that will provide more earned income, that will provide more resources for the organization itself to be in a more sustainable state. Additionally, and I think you tried to highlight that towards the end of your comments, is that the experiences will be somewhat exclusive of one another. So I'm sure most folks who have been to Hambidge, you sort of have that memory of what it was like either driving up for the first time, or going to dinner, all those evenings. Like that experience will remain, but we're just expanding that to create capacity for the organization. So from a location standpoint, maybe just reiterate, where will these new buildings be located, and just how will that situate itself on the property?
Sure. And I think, so thinking about it in 2 bookends of what we do as an organization is nurture creativity. And, I would also add that we're nurturing creativity with compassion and with the idea of community. And this commitment in terms of the residency program is a radical freedom to the committed to the creative process, right? The other side of the bookend, which is the Antinori Village, is really very based on intention. So we welcome you to do whatever you want. You've proven yourself as an incredible artist committed to your craft. You could walk, you could do, we don't care how many chapters you write, how many paintings you finish. But what we're excited about is giving you that freedom. Now, living in the world that we're living in today, we see opportunities to connect dots and the truth that artists can speak and the changes and the differences that they can make. And so that's where we kind of see this new space, with new intention. So there will be intention with everything that's happening at the village. And the village, and it may be easiest, this may be a good point to just kind of flip to one of the slides here. So let's flip to, go back. So here, this is going to give everyone a good view of where the village will be. So if this is the main entrance and Lucinda's Rock House, of course, on the right side. And then you keep going and it has its own very separate entrance. And so those of you ceramic artists are going to be familiar with where the pottery studio is. This is tucked right behind the pottery studio in an area where we refer to as the ruins, which is an old lodge that was there long before even Mary's but it's a really lovely setting. And we looked around a lot to determine exactly where this should be placed. So you can see it's really well protected. We'll kind of keep this space. We're going from 8 people on 600 acres to 16, y'all. So I think there'll still be some elbow room. And we're excited about kind of these two different things going on, but you could certainly be in Fisher's studio working on a painting and walking down to the Rock House and have dinner and not know anything that's really going on over on that side of the property.
So this begs the question, especially for those artists who hear, workshop opportunity. I have something that I would love to share with the world. What is that process going to be like for those artists who maybe have been fellows but now want to take advantage of this new opportunity? What is that like? How will that run in terms of the organizational, process of that?
Great question. So there'll be a number of ways for artists to and fellows to connect to the village side. First, in terms of workshops, we are certainly interested in a broad. We want the workshops to be representative of Hambidge, right? Which represents all art forms. We're going to learn how to bake pies. We're going to learn how to dance. We're going to learn how to write songs. All of these fun things. The staff and Ife, we are still kind of really working through what is going to be the exact process on how workshops, how they come together. Again, we've done them in the past, so we have a good idea. We have a good core of folks who we're looking at to do some more workshops. But we do envision ourselves, and we do throw this out to all fellows. We want these workshops to be different than any other of the workshops going on across the country. And we want these to be inspired by what you think as an artist. Again, we exist for artists. We're interested in how artists want to kind of share their work and share their wisdom. So there'll be a call for workshop proposals. And we see that to be an ongoing conversation. We still need to kind of identify the process on how we're doing with that. There'll be surveys. And thank you to all of you who've already kind of shared some surveys on a variety of things to include the lab. But this is organic, still growing in terms of the workshops. We plan to launch next year. We're seeing about 10 workshops for next year, and then that'll double the following year. So we've still got some fine tuning to do. We're excited. We've identified folks, but I think what's most exciting for the staff is the workshops that we don't know about right now. The ones that are in our fellows' heads, and they've been thinking about it for a long time. So I share that with our fellows in terms of help us kind of think about how we create a really dynamic menu of workshops. I think now is a good time just to share too. So that's one element. I think perhaps even the most exciting element of the Antinori Village will be the opportunity for an open call for what are your dreams as Hambidge Fellows to bring together artists in a collaborative way in the village. So 8 individuals, could be less, could be for a weekend, could be for a week, could be for 2 weeks. I think we're really open and flexible about the village, and that's the beauty of the village. It's creating a whole new opportunity for us to think about how nurturing creativity, but in a very collaborative way, in an intentional way, to tackle anything that the Hambidge Fellows are interested in. The other side will be staff kind of driven, curated thematic residencies, where we're reaching out to create a thematic residency on social justice or climate change. And what's exciting about that is this ability to really bring artists together, to really find solutions to some of our most pressing issues and certainly issues that we're experiencing today. And that's something that we see serendipitously, our fellows connecting at Hambidge, but we want to bring that further and really with some deep intention. And I should also say, these are areas that are much more fundable. There's ROI on bringing together artists when it comes in a themed way from social justice and climate change and a variety of things. So we're excited about entering a new level of funding opportunity. We hope to have all of these initiatives funded through foundations and through private individuals. So we're super excited about this new initiative, and again, connecting dots to Hambidge Fellows across the country.
So just help our audience understand the time frame. When will things get to look different at Hambidge? When will things become completed at Hambidge? But also, given that we're still sort of living with this COVID-19 reality, could you maybe say, a few words about how COVID-19 maybe impacted the process of what you're doing, if at all? Sure. And sort of maybe chime in on where we are from now until we see 2.0 reality.
Yeah, great question. And we were scheduled to break ground this year. That when COVID hit, everything kind of went very slow. We had to put a pause on everything, and that's served us well, because what we've done is we're fortunate in a number of ways. Number one, we only shut down when COVID hit for 6 or 7 weeks, and during that time, we really went to work on some upgrades on the facilities. Made the most of that time. We had chefs making library cards, and housekeeping was painting. So everybody rolled their sleeves up and really helped, just doing some simple upgrades. But I think also we really took a sharper look at the plans, the business plans, dived further into research, and it allowed us to get a better understanding on the needs that need to be put in place at Hambidge. It also allowed us to really play with the studios a little bit to see there was a lot of purging that needed to happen at Hambidge. The days of grandma's 60-year-old couch making its way to your studio are gone, we hope. And we're really proud of the new furniture and the upgrades that will, should we jump in and share some of the upgrades? I think we'll just jump in and, okay, so first, this is Cove Studio. So many of you might know Cove Studio. Yeah, we're getting some head shaking in the audience. Small, cute little spot, dank. We didn't have, had some challenges, but, and quite frankly, it was one of these things, in going into and really evaluating, and we had a tremendous construction committee and redesign committee, a variety of committees helping us navigate all of this. And this one was a hard one because kept on leaving and thinking, okay, we just need to tear this thing down. And we kind of allocated about $25,000 for each studio to really kind of to fix it. And this one we kept going, wow, it just needs more and more and more. And this is one of those kind of examples. Well, let's not think so much that it needs to be much bigger. And we kind of thought about Hambidge, and there's a lot of space outside. Kind of really appreciate the outdoors. And so for this particular space, we made it ADA compliant, which we're super excited about. And we added a large porch. So you see a large porch. There's our ADA ramp going up. Nice large porch with some chairs. There will be a hammock there soon. Large porch. There's the front side. And I must say that the fellows who were in residence when this first opened all came over and were oohing and eyeing over it. It really felt good. Again, we're going, so this is the old, are you staying with me? I know I'm clicking.
Yes, Dana's.
This is the old kitchen, crowded. Yes, you were in there too, weren't you? And so now what we did is we totally redid the kitchen, new tile. We also brought the fireplace over to kind of cover the new refrigerator, just encapsulating all of that. New sitting space, simplifying everything. Here's another look at the kind of the small kitchen. That is the old kitchen into the bathroom that you can barely fit into. And if you take a shower, you gotta it's hard, don't drop the soap. And so we did is and there's another picture of the old bathroom. And so excited that we just retiled it and made it a whole wet bathroom. White, simple, and also ADA compliant. So really proud of how we did that. And we did all of this in-house. So George Long, a really wonderful artist and craftsman, helped us with this, along with of course, Andrew Fitzgibbons and Jason. So really proud of that. This is the old kind of lots of stuff in there. Now we've got brand new beds, brand new sheets, brand new mattresses and blinds, lots of little things. So just nice and clean, simplifying the space. This was, this needed to be done before COVID, but it made it really clear how you just really need to have a nice, clean, white space for artists to come into. This is the rock house. This is kind of, and again, I want to feel like this is just a little rock house gathering, right? We're all in residence, but we wanted to open up the space a little bit, bring it a little bit more welcoming. So, just take down some walls and open up the space, which has been really great. And it allows for more space, and really excited about just having those artist talks in the rock house now with this new space. Those poor little golf carts running up and down our hills have been worn out. So this is a new vehicle that we got. Super excited about that, and it'll allow us to do a lot of different things that we need to do. Never know when somebody's going to break down, right, Ife? And need to be pulled out. And Ife's been hard at it already, a month in the job. And
she's had breakdowns and pullouts.
Breakdowns and pullouts. And this is a little workshop that where we kept a lot of items, and the roof had fallen in. This is up close to Mary's cabin, and we raised the roof. Been doing a lot of roof raising up at Hambidge, and have a new space on the side that'll bring around so a space so it'll be a storage space and a space to park for the new ATV. So that's, I think that's a quick look. That's not showing you all of it. I think also Brenna Studio, never going to give you all the good stuff, right? Brenna Studio is, I'm just going to go back to the front. Brenna Studio, we also made ADA compliant, and that got a whole new kitchen and bathroom, ADA compliant bathroom. And so we've got a lot more work to be done on the studios. We're super excited about that. We've got a good jump start on a variety of things. I'm really proud to share with you all of that.
Nice. So at this point, I mean, I think it would be great just to maybe lay out, just from a leadership perspective, encapsulate your vision, for how you want people to really engage with this Hambidge 2.0 experience, but also how they can be involved or even support. I know there's still some funds to be raised. The people are watching, but people wanted to understand where things are financially as it relates to all of the newness. Just give us some sort of closing thoughts and words on that.
Sure. I think, we're really proud and fortunate. I think also going through COVID, we got the PP money, we got a big grant from the NEA. That really helped us. And I think what I want to say also is we're really proud to be one of the few residencies that actually was continue to operate. Now, I think all of us know we're made to shelter in place, so that was nice, but it was difficult. We did shift, and still currently the dinners are to go. We eat out on the Reeves Pavilion. There's plenty of space, but we've been really proud of kind of being able to stay a place for for artists to come, right? And in terms of where we are with the campaign, I think a big round of applause goes to Catherine Banks for our development director. We set out to raise $3.4 million. We have now raised $3.2 million. So we just have $200,000 left to raise, which is phenomenal. I can't even say the word, it's so great. In these times, I think we realized too, we approached some foundations, and during this time, there's a lot of shifting of support going to just the organizations that they've supported in the past, and support to human services. So we saw a lot of support that we were really focusing on kind of go away. But we've been really fortunate to have kind supporters see the possibility of Hambidge 2.0. I think, Hambidge will begin to be much more loud and proud in terms of who we are as an organization. But, as an organization that's been around since 1934, so a long legacy of commitment to artists, we're going to continue that, and we're going to just dive deeper into that. I think what the reality is, though, as we went into the campaign, we realized just how off the radar we are on all levels beyond the artists. And so the workshops and some of the new initiatives, really connecting dots to support the dreams of our artists, will create new opportunities for the artists, but also for Hambidge to get its name out there in the broader public and help us find support to therefore then funnel that to the artists. So again, really fortunate to be in the position that we're in. It's really capacity building for us to connect dots to all of our Hambidge fellows across the world. And we want to not only build stronger relationships, so we have lots and lots to talk about in terms of as we build our staff to build a new alumni program and ways to really stay in touch and to get feedback on how we can be a better supporter for artists. And that's been a lot of the dialogue that the staff has had for a while, but we just haven't had the capacity. And that's what's special. Because of the intimate moments that we get to have, we really get to spend time with the artist and see the true potential and the talent of the people coming through Hambidge. And we want to play a greater part in all of that. And we've seen little snippets of that, and that comes in a wide variety of ways. But we always come back and ask ourselves, is this really something that's a little unique? There's plenty of galleries and museums doing their thing. We want to always be doing something a little bit different, and really focus on the artist, the creative process, and celebrating that work in progress. More so than often that finished product. There's tremendous beauty in that, and
I think we also understand where we are sitting up in the mountains of North Georgia, and really want to think about how we can play a role in making art more accessible to a broader public. And no one can do that better than artists, through deep conversation and through sharing work. So we've been really excited to play a part in small ways in work going out into the world. And this is an exciting time for us to play a lot of different roles and be intentional in a time where the world needs more intention.
Loud and proud,
There you
but not crowded.
go. Oh, that's a great point. Yes.
There we go.
Somebody write these down. Boy, it's good.
Recordings.
Yes.
Well, I think this is a great, we are recording, so thanks for everyone who's watching, both in the audience, live audience, as well as online. Get some Q&A.
Absolutely.
We have any cues, Catherine?
Folks will just need to unmute themselves. I think we can just go one by one. I'll turn my screen around so you can see.
And we can start with in the audience. Does anybody have any questions in the audience? Lots of smiles.
He says this is all fantastic.
So just a geographical question for you. You were talking about the village. Is the village up in North Georgia, or is it this little campus here?
Great question. So the question, where is the village? The village, the Antidori Village this is the space that will be put into our campus. And I will back. So this, the far left building is the pottery studio. Okay? That little square. So the current pottery studio is that. This is the ruins area, and what we've so this tells you, all right, Georgia, we're here in Atlanta. Here's Hambidge. Now we're jumping to Hambidge. This is the Lucinda's Rock House, and the village is just down the road and on a separate driveway. And you'll be able to access this and come up to the village. And the village is made up of. This kind of gives you a good. So the largest building here is the Commons, and so think of the Village Rock House. This is a space that'll have a nice big kitchen. It'll be a workshop space. It has a nice large deck that comes out, and that deck could be for meetings. It could be for a little jazz quartet. Could be for yoga. We love, again, think about kind of the multi-use dynamics of the space. Also, what's hard to get a sense of, this is in the woods. We really are embracing the natural beauty of Hambidge. And this deck comes out into the ruins, and it's a really beautiful space. So we really look forward to everyone getting a chance to experience that. These are dog trots. So there's 3 dog trots, 2 of which have 2. So a dog trot is a space, 2 spaces connected by a porch, a covered porch, just like Mary's Cabin. And so that was the inspiration for the dog trots. So these simple little dog trots are where people would stay. Now, the beauty of the dog trot, we're putting in Murphy beds. So it could be where the one side is where you stay and the other side becomes your studio. Both sides could go up. It could be just workspaces. So we're really kind of thinking about how these dog trot spaces could work in different ways. There's what we'll call, I don't know if a quad trot but there's 2 spaces together connected by a covered porch, and then 2 spaces. And so again, that could be those 2 spaces. One might be where you sleep, and the other might be your studio, or you open both up. So really kind of trying to be thoughtful about these spaces can change in a wide variety of ways. So that's the village. And the village, it kind of takes this name of really being collaborative. It's a place where people come together. Hambidge is Hambidge has the rock house where people come together, but we really respect your time to sit and edit film, George King, to edit film and dive into your work. That's the residency side. Again, the new village side is it's an intentional space where small communities come together and really dive in. Okay, anybody else to add to that?
Nothing to add. I do have a question.
Okay. Let's see. And then just to show you, this shows you, the next slide shows you the real layout. Again, these are nice spaces. They're tight little spaces. Each space has their own toilet, shower. So these are nice. These are really nice, thoughtful, lots of window appreciation of nature spaces with porches. You gotta have porches up in the mountains, right?
How about the kitchen?
The kitchen. So the kitchen, again, common space. We're really fortunate to have Wolf and Sub-Zero come in again as sponsors, and so there's going to be wonderful appliances in there. I think what we love about the kitchen and common space is it's like when you go to an event at somebody's home. You end up in the kitchen, you stay in the kitchen. That's the feel, again, of Hambidge trying to be thoughtful about bringing people together, right? So we like the idea that the kitchen is right there, and it's the common area. Again, simple, thoughtful, and enough room for 10 folks, and then let folks get outside on that large, beautiful porch. Anything else? Okay.
All right.
Next question.
Yep, from Zoom. Question is, will workshops and classes be in person, virtual, or hybrid?
That's a COVID question, right? It's a 21st century question. It's a great question. Right now, we are planning on them being just in person. There may be a virtual element. I think that's the staff. We need to talk about that. Oh, E-Face raising your glasses. Do you want to share your thoughts on that?
Virtual just lets it keep on going sometimes, so it's hard to say.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. I think what we want to not lose sight of is the intimacy, the privacy of Hambidge, right? I think COVID has shown us, yes, you can do all of these different things, but there's a real need to escape the city, escape the places where we are, and get together with some really talented individuals, inspiring individuals, and dive deep. And let the rest of the world fade away for that particular moment. So that's this, that's the driving component of these workshops. But here's not to say there's going to be opportunities to include other people who can't be there physically. Anything, Dana Thacker, who's also plays an important voice in all of this.
The question about the
virtual
workshops.
just programs.
I think it's a possibility. It probably would be a separate thing, maybe from our workshops that we, the workshops are probably going to create community, like you said, Judy, and I'm not sure that it will translate virtually, but the instruction aspect of the workshop might be something.
I think that. Yeah.
That's what that, because one of the components of Hambidge as a resident here was it's more so about Wi-Fi, about not having Wi-Fi. Like purposefully, you're cut off from the rest of the world. So as part of that experience of not being plugged into the outside world and being forced to think, look inward and connect with folks who are there, does adding that virtual component, even on the workshop side of it, but how does that maybe, complement or not complement, or maybe disrupt that sort of sense of like the Hambidge bubble once you're there?
Yeah. It's a, you
I
bet.
don't think that if it's not a virtual component, it would be in the moment instantaneous. So you would have a different experience, but there may be opportunities to access that.
And I think it's worth noting, some items would translate well, some items would not. I'm not saying that we'll lean to those that don't translate well, but this is Hambidge being Hambidge and not trying to accommodate the rest of the world. I think what we're most committed to are these feelings, this learning that happens deep inside you, and showing it to the rest of the world at that particular time is not going to be a priority for us. We've still got a lot to, as you can tell, we're a work in progress. We're proud of that. We celebrate experimentation. And so this is an experiment. There's been an incredible amount of research that is in business plans that have gone into this. So we feel really good about everything. But there's still going to be some adjustment as we grow and as we learn how we can best utilize this space.
And as a person who's just left, 21st century technology and moved into the Hambidge world entity, I would say that you don't need to worry that there's going to be Atlanta speed technology added in order to enable virtual and technological work. It's going to stay older.
I would add, though, there will be, the village will be wired up and have the capacity to do those things.
On a North Georgia mountain. It's a different world.
Yeah.
We have another Zoom question. Will workshops be limited to the number of spaces in the village, or will attendees also be allowed to not stay?
I asked that question yesterday.
Yeah. No, it's a great question. I think it depends on the workshop itself, right? So the capacity for what is going, whether it's pie making or it's certainly pottery, they'll be playing pottery studio, pottery workshops. I think there will be an opportunity for people to take a workshop and not stay at Hambidge. I think, though, the vast majority of the full experience will be experienced in while living at the workshop. I think what we're trying to put forward is this special snippet of a residency experience for workshop participants to live, park that car, get out of it, and don't get in it again until you leave the property. And I think now, just to say, we're talking like weekend workshops, 1 week workshops, and some 2 week workshops. And we'll find a happy medium on how all those work out. But I think currently we're focusing on 1 week workshops as to be the majority of what we'll be doing. Any other questions out there? Any other additions from the staff?
Can I speak up for a moment?
Wow, we've got
Yeah.
Karen, hi. Okay,
Hi.
I'm glad we've got, so I wanted to share, we've got a question from Karen, and I kind of, we've looked at the group of fellows, and Karen, I think you won that you were the earliest in 1982.
Right.
Was your first
So,
resident.
well, All right, so I have a unique history in that 1981, actually, I came for a workshop. All right, so I've got the old Hambidge workshop information in my head. The next summer, I worked at Hambidge and lived there for the entire summer of '82. Then I came back for another year, about 2 years later, to be on staff, and then I've come as a resident in the years since. So I was shocked when I realized it was 40 years. But I can tell you, I'm just so excited by everything that you're saying.
Thank you.
It just feels right. It feels good to me, and I'm smiling. So, you know, you get my 2 thumbs up, and somehow I'm going to figure out a way to be a part of this.
Thank you very much, Karen.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
So there's proof, y'all. Like, so this is, Hambidge has been doing workshops for a very long time. And this is really just, you know, we're excited to bring that back in thoughtful ways that really kind of understand the current vision and how we weave that in to the current residency program. And you know, the residency program, I should share, is really the heart of Hambidge and has been for I think a long time. And that's how it's separated itself from a lot of other organizations. There's a lot of organizations that do a great job in workshops, and that's their driving component. And then they have residency programs as well. And they do great residencies. I think, you know, we're really proud of our residency program, and in its current form, really that commitment to radical freedom and embracing all disciplines. That is rare. And then also really do whatever you want to do, not that expectation. So all of these things, as you add up, makes Hambidge rare on how it offers that time at Hambidge. And we really are committed to that. And we can be committed to that because we've got the village now to bring in these new elements. And we haven't talked a whole lot about it, but the thematic residencies, residencies that are currently brewing in the brains of Hambidge Fellows, and then these wonderful workshops that are, you know, they're going to create new exposure for Hambidge and bring in new opportunities to nurture artists, and then also nurture more support for all of the work that we're doing. So we're really excited about that. Any other questions that have come in? Okay, go ahead.
So who shapes these programs? Like, example, who brainstorms around the direction? Like, let's say, let's have a thematic residency. Do you have a board? Is it from bottom up? Is it top down?
Great question. And we're still, so currently it's the staff that have been running. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
please.
So how do the workshops come in? Who decides what workshops will take place, essentially? And in the past, it's been the staff, and we're having that discussion, but we really like the idea of creating an opportunity for requests for workshops and determining how we can grow that opportunity for more people to be involved. But currently, it's the staff. You're looking at them, Dana, Ife, myself. We'll decide what the first workshops, and we're talking just like 12 workshops next year, doubling it the next year, and then trying to find a happy place. But it's going to be really important too that the workshops, again, embrace the menu of workshops include all of the elements that Hambidge supports: dance, music, writing, visual arts, sciences, food, culinary. So we're really excited about that. I think also there'll be opportunities for leadership retreats. So really deep thinking. And I don't want to lose sight of healers, compassion, and how we think about that. That's really an element that we're starting to weave more into Hambidge. We're proud to have a wide open book in terms of what those workshops will be, and who will participate. But we really depend on Hambidge Fellows to be leading these workshops. And we just feel so fortunate to have an incredible over 2,000 fellows across the country that do this work. And so we're starting that dialogue now. I guess give us a moment to get the process in place in terms of how to submit ideas. But look for that, and we'll be sending out some information around that. Great question.
And when we look for ideas, we're not just looking for ideas about what you might be interested in providing, like a workshop you want to lead, but also what type of workshops you'd be interested in participating in, or telling your friends about, like everything's not just about the persistence side, but also the just interest.
Absolutely.
One more question. Will Hambidge be open to hosting non-local artists to lead workshops?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's our goal to have artists from all over doing all different things, hosting workshops, and people that you might not even call an artist. We really want to think creatively and stretch the boundaries of how we think about artists and creative thinkers and doers and people who are challenging and disrupting. We're excited about that, and there's a lot to learn from thinkers and people who can share different ways of viewing the world. All right. Well, this has been a pleasure to share. This is an ongoing discussion. So if anyone out there wants to contact us, shoot us an email, have further questions, we're happy to answer them. We don't always have the answers. Be scared if we always do, because that's not a good sign, because we're open to the new. We want to embrace change and evolve with a deep, deep respect for our heritage and artists, pure and simple. And I say that we want to be the best steward we can of our land. And that's a whole nother environmental component that we haven't really touched on, that we want to really bring a deeper respect and a deeper education to go out into the world as well. All right, I think that's it. It's a potluck time. We're here again, just like we are at the Rock House. Gonna dig into some food. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Floyd, for joining us. Sure. Ife, Dana, Maddie, and the whole audience. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Bye.